Ay, ay, ay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to yet another episode of For the Most Part podcast, right? Now, here's the thing, right? We actually started recording this episode maybe about, 2 minutes ago, and Zoom cut. So, we do this again. Anyways, this week, our guest has been on before. We spoke about the Donda VCLB thing several episodes back, and I have him on now because he recently released, well, 3 songs. Two were firstly released on the EP Omo, and the last one I think is still on that EP as well. Okay, cool. So now, so now one of my first questions to you is how did that happen? Because Jehiah and I, we always talking about, if we should release a song, and if you all heard the commentary, I'll see if I could put in like a little snippet of some of the stuff afterward. But how did you get to that point of releasing Omo? And how you came up with the name and that sort of thing?
That's like 2 different questions wrapped up in one.
That's okay.
Okay, so how did Omo start? Omo started as me realizing I was playing the fool. Like I have a whole set of incomplete music and ideas lying all over the place, collecting digital dust, because I will start an idea, put it on the shelf, and move on to something else, start to work on something, and then put it on the shelf, and that cycle keep happening. And I was like, yo, you need to stop this and get something going. Now, during that same period, word came out that Music TT was looking to start their artists. I keep forgetting the name of what they call it, but basically they take on artists for a year and work with them, help them with the promotion, the marketing, all of that stuff now. But to be a part of that, you needed 3 official releases. So you need to show that, I already doing the work on my own already.
Right.
You're not now coming to set up yourself now. So one of my friends, Jehiah, was like, go for it, push it. So I was like,
big up Jehiah for doing that.
Yeah, I'm a dog. Anyways, so didn't get these songs released in time, and this is due to limitations of getting things done remotely, because there are certain parts that I didn't do personally, so it's outsourcing to somebody, everybody who was on the whole EP, and waiting to get back parts and stuff like that and whatever. So that is how that me pushing to get it released, because even with that and all that, I reached a point where I was like, yo, you know what? I started this whole project since June. It's September.
You might as well
just whatever it is right now.
Put it out.
If it is, I ain't have live drums, I don't have live whatever, just put it out. If later down in life I decide to pick back up everything and remix everything, record over parts, whatever, cool, that could happen then. But just put it out, get out to your face. So that is how getting the release of those tracks were done. The name Omo, which means child in Yoruba, that name did not come initially. Like, that name was like a long ways after thought, like after all the music is done and everything.
Right.
Because what happened with each track, there was a, what do you call it again, man? It's like a reference, or I forget the name or the word we use in music for it. Not like you're improvising, but you use a melody from another song in the improv and then it comes in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Kind of like like an interpolation.
Interpolation, right?
Yeah.
That is the word I was looking for.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, so every track had some interpolation in it.
I heard some of it. Continue.
Each one was based off of a children's song or song that you would have heard in some children's movie or somewhere along the line. So one of the tracks, if you listen to it, because each one isn't as blatant as the other. One of them, there's a snippet of the Imagination song from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and that's the first one with Gene Hackman. Next one had Starlight, Starbright, First I See Tonight, right? And then the other one had Peace Power Shot, Peace Power Show, Peace Power Jennifer, 9 years old, right? So each track had one of those in it. So when you all actually do listen to the songs, listen out for those. If you find it, nice. If you don't find it, it's cool. Just listen to the song.
Yeah.
So I was like, what could I do? What can I name this EP that, you know, lets people know that there's something dealing with childhood in it, but even though these songs don't actually have anything to deal with childhood. Yeah. And interestingly enough, the song that has a story behind it, because that's the song that was released some days ago and didn't come up to the initial 2.
Yeah.
That one is actually the lyrics and the music video for it from Radiohead, and so there's a story behind that song. It was actually based off of some children's book Tommy Hawk was reading for his son.
Right.
So there's like all of that layers of childhood in the whole thing. So it's like, okay, what word could I use? You know,
to represent all this,
Yeah. So digging up, trying to find different words. Check Swahili, I try French, I was like Spanish, all kind of languages, and then I was like, oh, like that popped up when I was just going through languages. Like, I like that word.
Yeah.
It's simple. You know, it has some symmetry to it because you can flip it one way or the other.
Right.
OMO. That's it. I was like, that's what I'm going to name this thing. But underneath it, I will still put the translation on which language it's from and whatever. So that's where the name came from. And because of that now, designing the album art, I decided to use chalk art as part of it. So that's where all of that ideas for using chalk and, you know, because
children.
Yeah. And I don't know if anybody ever get the experience, but actually like drawing stuff with chalk. I mean, yes, it's kind of dusty and could be dirty and gritty if you don't like that feel on your hand, but playing with colored chalk on the sidewalk or drawing on a chalkboard, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Even as an adult.
It brings back memories of your childhood.
Yeah. So that's where the name came from.
Because honestly speaking, I would not have. Now I heard some of the hints at the childhood songs in the first 2 tracks, because I haven't gotten a chance to listen to the last one, but I do judge me. Time the last couple of days real sticky, so I'm going to be getting to that. However, I would not have put all of those pieces together. I wouldn't have known what Umo was. I was gonna Google it, and I was like, then he said child. I was like, oh, all of the pieces are literally coming together. So I'm like, this is brilliant. this is brilliant. So kind of talk to me a little bit about how you selected some of the musicians to play, because if you all go and listen to the tracks, let me just say, y'all,
I don't have talent.
Listen to me. I don't know, like, the talent is ridiculous for Trinidad and Tobago, and ridiculous in a good way. So what was the process like in getting to work with these guys?
People.
And not only that, talk about how you did the recordings and putting all of that together and the mixing process. We dig in. We dig in.
Mixing process. Alright, so the musicians that I worked with are musicians that I've worked with many years before, and some of them I wanted to work with them for a long while. So on keys, we have Jesse Johnson, known as Mr. Keys. You all can look him up on YouTube. He has a channel every week or so. He puts out a nice little track, gospel music and stuff, and stay saved and sanctified. We have on guitars, Adriel Bailey King, Jonathan Sami, and Nahum Roland. Right, so 3 different guitarists. All right. On drums, for one of the tracks, we have Mr. Vaughn Best. Now, he's one of the musicians I wanted to work with for a good while, because I mean, Vaughn is
legendary.
Yeah, like, I
don't know what else they want.
When somebody heard a piece of the track, it was like,
that song ain't Vaughn
on that track. It's like, I know his song, I know he touch. It's like, do it. But that was actually from another drummer as well. And then we have Mr. Nicholas Jones. Nicholas is a saxophonist that I met going to Custard. He left to go and study in New York some years ago. Came back in recently with the whole pandemic and everything. And he was just excited to play all of the sax lines. I only really contacted him to play just like tenor sax or something. He was like, well, I can play all of them. Like, you're sure? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. Cool. So it's like, I've done like random stuff with Nahum on and off, playing in a church with him some All Year's night, or it was last year or something. I can't remember. Time is fluid here.
Quite literally.
So these are musicians that I've met over the years, and the vibe with them is always good. Because knowing each of their strong suits and what they're capable of doing, and how they function and stuff, because but recording music, the only people who recorded in-house was Jonathan and Nicholas.
So everybody was virtual. They recorded their stuff and sent.
Sent it. So was making sure everybody had chord charts who needed sheet music or whatever.
By the way, Olelama interject here. This man write all and his catalog. If ever you release more, all I could say, people, is that Jehiah's catalog is ridiculous. Jehiah will send me 10 tracks in a day, and I'm like, I don't have that much, Jehiah. I don't. I might have 21 tracks in total that I write in my lifetime. You know what I mean? But this man is always but the thing is that he always composing, always arranging. And what I want to know from you is, what is it that you're just exercising your skill, your experience as a graduate of Custard? Yes. We both went to Custard. And you graduated with your bachelor's degree in music.
Music ed.
Yeah.
Because I was specialization in woodwind.
Right. So that was just this whole thing with the compositions and the arranging, is that's you just exercising that, or you just want to be creative? What is your plan?
Way back. So basically, I started getting a touch for composing music when I was doing music in secondary school in Barbados.
Barbados, yeah.
Because that was part of being able to do the grade 5 theory exam, because you had to compose an 8-bar. So in Barbados, going to school there for music, instead of doing the CXC music exam and music teacher, they decided, here's what, you'll just do the grade 5 exam instead, because there's the equivalent on international scales. So to do that exam, you need to be able to compose an 8-bar melody.
Okay.
So I used to get drilled in doing that. So coming back to Trinidad now and repeating fifth form, because I had some special teachers that didn't teach certain things. So, yeah. Yeah. And having now to do the CXC music, which also meant I had to compose more music.
Right.
So, and I think I composed a piece for clarinet. I don't know where the hell that is. Wherever it's in TXC office, wherever it is. Who cares? So I've been composing since then, but on and off, I will sit down, probably write a short melody, all right, cool, whatever. But it's just like tinkering with it.
Go ahead. I have a question, but I'll ask it after.
Okay. One of the songs originally was arranged since 2014 or 2015, and that's the Radiohead song. That was the only arrangement that was there. Everything else was original. And was utilizing the knowledge that I had from CXC, from my music teacher in Barbados, and just listening to, in general, what is happening with all of the instruments and whatever. And looking at expanding on the score from their songbook, which was just the guitar keys and voice.
Right.
So it was like expanding from that into the full array of instruments. And that was scored out and then placed on the shelf. Since 2014 or 2015. We're now in 2021. So you'll get the timeline of how long I could let something sit down and just be like, I should finish this, but nah.
Yeah. So, I think we all go through those kinds of spells.
Yeah. So that was that. But in composing and arranging isn't really me aiming to be creative. I mean, yes, it's creative and stuff, but it's more like
because they could do it, they're doing it.
Yeah, basically, it's like, it's something I could do. I'm gonna do it. Have fun doing it, seeing something built from one small random idea and just blossom into something that I didn't even know where it was going half the time.
Right.
So yeah, because the other two tracks, one of them started out as me playing around with a hip hop beat with some chords, and I was just improvising over it. Put out the videos somewhere, and I was like, I don't know what to name the song.
Right.
One of my cousins messaged me and she's like, name it Starlight. And I'm like, I like that. I'm gonna name it Starlight.
Right.
And then I threw away the hip hop beat, put in a Latin jazz beat thing, and then the whole of Starlight happened. Playground, was it Playtime? I can't remember what I named the song now. Playground, right? Yeah, Playground. That was I was actually up at night recording a lesson to send to the schools that I was assigned to.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those lessons, I had to use the piano now.
Right.
And just while I'm setting up and making sure, okay, I understand what I'm supposed to do, reading, stuff, and I just dropped my hand on the keys, and I heard a chord, and I was like, hey, what chord is that? And I just, just vamping on the chord, like, hey. I was like, okay, what chords will come after this? And I actually checked to see what chord I was going, because I actually didn't really watch my hand.
Right.
I was like, okay. I was like, so that whole
yeah.
And yeah, so that was the start of Playground. I didn't even know at that point because I was like, hey, that song real nice. All right, so I play all that, record it, copy and paste it in another session. I'm like, right, I'm gonna deal with that in the morning. I don't know what's gonna happen after that, but I'll deal with that in the morning. All right, finish recording the whole thing, that lesson thing, went and sleep, wake up the next morning and started to work on that song. Didn't know where it was going.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I have one question, which is, now for the people who don't know about composing and arranging, there are now more ways that you can do it without an instrument, right? So my question to you is, how do you compose your stuff? Do you pick up your flute at a time and and you come up with a melody, or you're behind the MIDI keyboard, you've started building a thing on a door and you say this bass line real dread, so I go in and slap on a thing and I do this and I 808 and whatever else? Or is it that you start off on the instrument and then you build, or is it a combination of the two? That's a very deep question, clearly. Yeah. Here's an answer for you, right? Because what I was going to say is, for me, what I've realized is I'm a good songwriter for an instrument. But I'm also a good, I guess, songwriter too for the samples. Hopefully you all will get to see that at some point. Behind a door, meaning the MIDI keyboard, so I could sit down and at least I know how to play the piano, so I could voice chords. I'll say, this doesn't sound too nice, it sounds too clustered here, so change that, put on instruments, layer, whatever.
Me, the thing is, each song was created differently. There was stored out in Sibelius first and then brought across to the door. Right.
Clap the people using Sibelius. Sibelius is everything. Well, okay, I'm not gonna be biased, but Sibelius is pretty powerful for certain things.
Yeah. Playground was me on a random, drop my hand on some keys and then it's like, okay, save this for later, come back to the next day. So that was built in the door first and then sent across to Sibelius to score it out, so the score will be available. Starlight was me playing around with just chords and then just throwing random rhythms underneath it to see what could happen.
Right.
And then improvising on top of it, just trying to figure out, okay. And then one of the improvisations turned out to be the actual melody that is used in the song. So each version of, like, because you can compose in so many different ways now, but it really still builds on the principles of what you would learn on
an instrument,
theory and what on an instrument.
Right.
And understanding which instrument you're composing for.
That's a big thing, especially in like pan arranging. A lot of people think it's a thing and sit down and you press keys and you write all the thing. And even like if I'm building a track and I do want to put in a pan tune, I kind of have to think about if a panist were to really actually come and lay down some of these lines that I want them to put on. You know what I mean? It have the dread ones like Natasha and Mikhail Salcedo, so I could get them. But if I can't get them, I'm gonna have to think about the average pan player too. You know what I mean?
see how best, yeah, because and that level of thinking and way of thinking, I would say I got that from my music teacher in Barbados. Because one of the things he made sure and drill in my skull is transposing instruments and what each instrument can do and what it can't do. So you would never see me hand you a score and the notes is either you can't play them at all or expect one person to play double stops on an instrument that cannot play double stops.
Louder.
I am not going to score a song at 160 BPM and have
people try to read it.
64th notes in the score.
But it doesn't cut time, duh.
I'm not going to do somebody that wickedness. It makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, yes, there are some pieces that I'm looking at right now that has, what is that, 16, 30-second notes, but the pieces are like 60 BPM.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's still playable. But that's really fast.
Yeah.
Because flautists apparently don't need to breathe. But is understanding, what instrument you're composing for and knowing, okay, I'm composing this, but I don't know who's going to play it at some point.
Right.
So I need to make sure that whoever's going to play it, they can still have some realm of playability, because even with all of the pieces, Nicholas was like, hey, I basically sight reading these things.
Right.
So it's not to say it's like difficult music to play. You can sight read it if you know how to sight read.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like knowing those little details.
All right. Well, what can we expect from you in the next couple of months? Because I know you always sending me Jehiah. Listen, if I were to show you my phone with Jehiah, this man is 10 megabyte files by like 40 in a week of just
not that much.
Okay, no, that's an exaggeration. That's a major exaggeration.
It's like in a month.
In a month, but that's still a lot of stuff. So we could expect another.
Some of them is the same track, just at different level.
The truth. Yeah, so different levels of completion. He always sends me stuff to give him feedback, to critique, mix this down, bring up whatever.
Ooh, you just said, I remember one of the questions I asked earlier. What was the mixing process?
Yeah. If you could touch on that briefly before we wrap, and then you could plug your stuff.
Okay, so the mixing process was a learning experience with me. Like a huge learning experience, because mixing 5 different instruments is one thing. Because if you mix keys, drums, bass, guitar, vocals, or whatever the lead instrument is, that is easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Compared to mixing 3 different saxophones, 2 layers of flute, 2 layers of clarinet, 3 different layers of trumpet, 3 different layers of trombone, a drum kit, all the various percussion.
So almost basically mirroring all the semi-large orchestral piece, basically.
Yeah,
but more like a large band. Yeah, large band.
Big band, kind of jazz, kind of vibe. So it's like understanding how to mix that was a learning experience, because the thing with mixing is that everybody has their own way of doing it. And going online to research, okay, how do I mix this? And it's like
use the ears. Reading
a whole set of different forums. Yeah, people said that, use the ears, and I'm like,
how? Yeah.
What? So one person was like, well, they put the trombones dead center, and then they put this thing, and I was like, okay, let me try that. It sounded good. But then I realized, wait, hold on. Some of my percussion, you're not hearing it at all.
Getting drowned out, yeah.
Getting drowned out. And I was like, okay. And then, like about 3 weeks before the initial release happened, I was just listening to music on my phone, and one of the songs on my phone is from Metropole Orchestra. And I'm listening to their mix, and I'm like, wait, hold on. The sax is here, the trumpets here. Okay, I'm going to mix like them. Sat down, scrap the mix, pull all of the stems into a totally new session, did over the mix, match what they did, and the percussion that was being drowned out before was now present. You can now hear where certain sections are very clear, everything. I was like, right, that is the mix I'm going to use from now on anytime I'm doing music like this. And yeah, the only thing is that I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Because those initial 2 tracks, I'm listening to it on Spotify and stuff, and I'm like, you need to roll back on some sections. All right, cool. So in releasing the last track, those things that areas I needed to tweak was tweaked on that track.
Nice.
And then released.
Nice. All right. Well, anything you want to add before we wrap? And not rap music.
But they just asked what to expect from me in a few months. And
well, in a few weeks, you could drop some bombshells if necessary.
Anything between an Afrobeat EP, probably some random singles. Yeah, because that's all I really have now.
Right.
There's an old project I was working on that I now brought back up the files for, where kind of playing off of some of the stuff that Mujabes did back in early 2000s. So just kind of jazz, well, it's jazz, but it's very simple, straightforward, more or less.
Nice.
But with the hip hop kind of vibe behind it. And probably another big band jazz EP-ish.
Nice.
At some point, because I'm not doing any more arrangements of anybody else's music. Because there was all 3 tracks were registered on the same day. But the registration for BMI for there did not come through until a week or so ago. The other tracks went through in like a week.
Right.
Initially. But that one, because that one had Tom York and the whole list of people from Radiohead and their publisher and whatever, because trying to cover my...
They're behind.
You're putting the word.
They're behind. Yeah.
The CYA protocol. I made sure to put in who are the original writers, the original melody, everything. I even contacted their publishers to make sure of what is the procedure to do with everything. So I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm not doing any arrangements of anybody's music. If I do any arrangements, it's not going to be for any official release. It's just going to be, well, I did an arrangement, here it is on YouTube. Goodbye.
Yeah.
But I might do a next EP soon, because it have scored out music, do nothing right now. Collecting digital dust.
The man say digital dust, So go and like and share and check out the thing is, guys, the EP is actually on iTunes and Spotify, and I'm guessing it's on all other major platforms.
It's on all major platforms, and if all you want to bless me up, or you could go and buy it on Amazon for 99 cents.
Oh God, come now, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. You know what I mean? Let's. This is your opportunity.
Make me feel nice.
This is your opportunity to actually support local. Exactly. You have
and I remember this part. I'll be like a drunk right now, probably. The scores for all 3 songs will be available soon, or they might be available by the time of the see this video. So if they have like any band or they just want the scores to see exactly what the hell is going through my head, you can buy the scores. Most likely they will be up on, I forget the name of the website or the platform, but Kemi will get that information by that time, and she could just slide it in, pay it in. Yeah. But the scores will be available, because that is one thing that I realize is like, what doesn't make sense. You're scoring out all this music, people listening to the music, and then they're like, hey, I want to play it too, and have to sit down and transcribe and
Very good. So
it will be available soon.
Very good. So you all heard the man. Go and get the EP. You could actually do like what I do, get an Apple Music plan. If you have an iPhone, download it's on the streaming platform as well. It's not like some other songs where you have to only buy it. So you can download it, stream it, listen to it. On Spotify, you can do the same thing.
Yep.
You could play, is it just a sample on Spotify, or you can play the whole thing?
It's the whole song.
Right, so all you're going to listen to the whole song on Spotify. If you have a plan, download it. Follow my instructions carefully. And then go to Amazon and pay 99 cents for the tracks. It's not going to cost you more than $20, TT. I can guarantee you that. 99 cents.
That's a short drop on the bus route.
Like, oh my lord, the references. Alright, y'all.
Hey, I mean, actually, no. It's a short drop.
A short drop.
That's like from Arima to Curap, dog.
That's enough, yeah. So, guys, as we said, go check out Jehiah's stuff. Jehiah, plug your socials, tell people where they can find you, and then after, when you're done, I have some announcements from the podcast.
So you all can find me on Facebook at Jehiah Hope or jehiahhope.music. That's my profile and my page. On Instagram is just _Jehiah. Same handle for... That's not from on there? Instagram. Oh, right, TikTok, yeah. Just under Jehiah. Just underscore.
This is when social media has a rampant thing, and you have a lot of handles, and you find him on everything. Find him on everything. I'm sure it'll be almost similar.
Yeah, it's like just _Jehiah for TikTok, and the same thing for Instagram. Jehiah Hope on Spotify. Jehiah Hope on Facebook, or jehiahhope.music on Facebook as well. I think that's all the platforms that I'm on that I want people to find me.
Nice vibes. Alright, so announcement time. So we are running a discount special for all For the Most Part podcast merch. So we've had a couple of people have already bought their t-shirts. Guys, the promotion will end. I'm not going to let it go past a certain date. We are cutting off the promotion, the discount. I believe it's January 20th. So go now, order your t-shirts. That's between now and season 4. So all you have time. You have time. Go get your stuff. All of the information for where you can find Jehiah, it will be obviously on the website. I mean, it's every episode we're doing this by now. You can support us on PayPal, Patreon, whatever else we have. I think we have coffee and Bitcoin. There's a whole wallet, to be honest with you. So don't hesitate to support. As we said many times, this goes back to the artists. This helps us to help them. So like, share, comment, subscribe, and we are counting down the end of season 3, like it coming up. right? So next couple of episodes we're gonna be wrapping, and we have something very, very special for you guys. So that's it. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we will see you, and we will hear you on the next one. Peace out, guys. Peace.
Bye.